Welcome back, Tiffin. This is Tiffin Talk. I am Mayor Tim Kasparek, joined by my always charming Mayor Pro Tem, MPT, Tim Orris. Tim, how have you been since the last time we were on?
Very good. I'm hearing a lot of good things back about the podcast. So very good.
I've heard some of those similar good things. I think you're more present in the community these days, though, with all of your again your senior work. I feel like you're hearing more than I'm hearing.
Easy there, Tim. I got my cane handy and I can use it. I mean, never mind. No, I have had several people come back. I don't mean to pat us on the back, but uh, I guess I will in that we're getting information out to people and they appreciate it. And that's what this was all about.
Yeah, and you and I talked about this as recent as last night. I think the interesting part is we all like to think that we do a really nice job of getting information out, but hey, we got to admit that we're in the digital age. So um, it's really all about trying to meet people where they're at in terms of consuming information. And if us going on a podcast once a month, some nice, easy listening music or easy listening conversation as you head to the office I think it's wonderful.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And we when we first started into this, we weren't sure. We were going into uncharted waters, as they say, and it's kind of encouraging to have that many people respond as well as they did. So if this is what they'd like, yeah, I'm willing to do it once a month, and if more than that, we'll be glad to up the ante.
Well, I don't, let's not get carried away, Tim. I don't know that we know yet that people really want to hear our voices more than once a month.
Well, that's true. I know one young lady that lives in the house with me doesn't always like to hear my voice at all. So
Yeah, but you did just refer to her as young lady. I mean, I got to imagine you're going to get some bonus points for that.
okay, at this point, I would say I'm trying to get points, but she would listen. So cut that out, Ashley, and just say, well, yes, she is a young lady.
I think one of the impressive things, Tim, and you and I joked about this throughout the last month, is the fact that we have gotten quite a bit of outreach of folks saying, "Hey, this is really nice." And that was our first episode. I think maybe producer Ashley can throw a clap track in the background after we say this, but I mean, kudos to us. We have no idea what we're doing, and we still got compliments. Uh-oh, the MPT has lost his sound. Can you hear me, Tim?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I lost you a
Okay.
little bit, but
Okay, no problem.
um,
Probably a senior moment. It's okay.
yeah.
Um, I think what I was saying, Tim, was just the fact that we have no idea what we're doing, and people still thought we were doing okay.
Yeah. And yeah, I'll admit that we really didn't know what we were doing. As I said on the first podcast, we kind of did this. It started out as just kind of a lighthearted joke, and then it got more serious. And suddenly, when we got Ashley involved and she started running with the ball, it's like, oh man, okay, now we really are going to have to do this. So we're learning as we go, and each time we learn a little more, and hopefully we can make this thing better each and every podcast.
Yeah, and I think the primary feedback that we heard, and I think we were conscious of this, was just us trimming the time back a little bit. So producer Ashley's got us on a shot clock today. I'm pretty excited about that. We can follow along, and we're gonna. Don't worry, listeners. We will shorten this up. We know uh, MPT gets a little long-winded and likes to talk, so we'll tell him to be quiet here. But welcome back, everyone. Again, Tiffin Talk, the official podcast of City of Tiffin. We're really happy that you're joining us for episode 2. And as a reminder, we'll take a few minutes to share what's happening around the city and then sit down with the people who make Tiffin such a great place to live. Today's guest will be none other than new Parks and Rec director, Grant Weber. Grant started on January 7th. he will be joining us here at the end of the hour, and really excited for that interview. So let's move right along. We've got the city update segment, and I think the first on here, and producer Ashley always taking care of me, saying, "Don't go down any rabbit holes here." I don't know that we can avoid that, producer Ashley. But first on the agenda is the Forever Green Roundabout project, and I think the interesting part about that is I feel like we have communicated that a lot, but obviously not everybody reads everything and not everybody hears what we're hearing. So uh, great segment for today to talk about that roundabout project. Tim, you want to kick us off there?
Uh, Tim, I've lost you again, but what I can tell you is that project is scheduled to be done this year. It will be a little probably inconvenient, but as I keep telling myself, remember the end result is what we're shooting for. So to get there, you're going to have to go through a little construction. That I understand you will be able to get through that intersection, but it'll just be a little different. And I would my best comment would be follow the signage, and you should be fine.
Yeah, and that's correct, Tim. Every indication that we've gotten is that that will remain open through the entirety of the project, which is really good to hear. I know, obviously, that intersection is traveled very heavily throughout the weeks. But really, really excited. The bid process on that just wrapped up, and North Liberty is leading the project. Obviously, we are heavily involved in terms of planning and making sure we're all coordinated between us and Coralville and North Liberty. And but yeah, the bidding process just wrapped up on that. I know the bids came in very favorably from what we were expecting, and uh, that should get kicked off here, I believe, first thing in the spring. It may take some time. Obviously, it's a roundabout. We know that those can take some time. But yeah, really happy that that's moving forward. And I know it's been a frustration for pretty much all of us for many, many years now. And so putting that forward feels really good. I think um, I do want to set the table a little bit over what's happened over the last couple of years. And that is starting mid of 24 is when we went to the negotiating table, so to speak, with between ourselves, North Liberty, Coralville, and the private entity that was involved in the land, and sat down and really had good conversations about what we all needed out of that and how we could all come to a cohesive endpoint. And those conversations were started mid 24, and they came to a conclusion late 24, early 25, as I recall, Tim.
That is correct.
And I know we didn't talk about it a lot during that process, mostly just from a preserving the relationship and preserving those conversations and uh, us all feeling good that we were all coming to agreement and all accepting what everybody needed out of that. And for those who haven't done the background, it is an interesting. I like to call it kind of the apex of the universe, right there, where North Liberty, Coralville, and us all come together. And so obviously that makes that challenging. And I don't want to get into the how we got there. I think that's water under the bridge at this point in time. Um, but the conversations and where we went from there were really really good. And you know we had obviously a lot of reasons to try and get that done outside of the fact of just getting it done. But that was really, really important to the economic growth things that we wanted to do in that area.
Tim, I would say it really came out the best for all involved. I don't think any one entity in this whole thing got an upper hand or got a good deal. I think it was pretty equitable, the results, and it's going to be so beneficial for everyone involved, but especially for Tiffin to get that intersection away from where it's at and into something that's much more productive. The one thing, and it's a weird question I've had asked more than anything, is yes, that main power pole will stay where it's at. It's they're building the roundabout to include that in its current location. So they're not going to be changing that. That's one question I've had asked over and over again.
I've had that same question, Tim, and it's interesting because it was one of my first questions when I assumed my role. And it's my understanding there was work involved for us to move that, knowing that that was the end plan. So yes,
Right.
that is staying where it's at, and it's in a good position outside of the roundabout area. And again, that will be a roundabout. So I know we've had a lot of questions about that, but it will be a roundabout. Um, Although, as you were saying that, Tim, maybe we should have had the power pole right in the center of the roundabout.
No, the DOT doesn't like that. So
And I think it's also important, and this is a little strange, and without a map on the screen here, or without a map in front of our listeners, I guess that what you would call the southeast corner of that intersection is still Coralville and will remain Coralville. And there's reasons for that, and I respect all reasons. Uh, one one of the concerns, I think we all had a pretty good laugh about it as we were moving through the discussions with all the entities, was uh, getting some signage that says you are now entering Coralville as you go into that area. And I don't know that that will really happen. We did talk about it, but that will remain Coralville, and that's the southeast corner. Oh, think of it as just north of Pinseekers there. Is remaining in Coralville city limits. So a little bit different. If you look at a map, it feels different, but again, there's good reasons why that was done that way, and um, I don't have anything negative to say about the outcome of that at all.
no,
Yeah, and then I think it goes without saying just the important long-term nature of that and why that was so important. Um, as we were recruiting homemakers, that was one of their first questions is, what about the intersection? And the timing worked out really well for us. We were already engaging in the conversations to potentially put that to bed, but that was a big factor. And if it's a big factor for homemakers, it's certainly a big factor for anybody else who wants to locate their business or entity in that location. So super important for our growth and to continue in that area.
correct.
All right. I think that's about it for that topic. If I'm looking at the shot clock, we're pretty much right on the money. Tim, you almost think we knew what we were doing with this.
Very good. We got across the midline and we got to the basket in time.
Up for quick notes, then, just a couple of quick things. Upcoming events, we have the library event concert with special music guest Molly Shannon for the love of reading. That's coming up. And then Better Together 2030 Award. Um, Tim, we were there just last night. Why don't you talk a little bit about that?
The Iowa City, Corville, North Liberty area, they have an individual or a group that are together, and they give out awards for different events and organizations that do well to promote the community. Well, Tiffin received the I would say, growing award. Basically, we were awarded for growing responsibly and thinking outside the box and doing the growing to promote the community as well as literally get larger. But by getting larger, we're doing it responsibly, I guess is what I kind of gathered from it. So it
Yeah,
was quite an honor. Go ahead.
yeah, it's definitely a cool honor for us. Um, Johnson County has so many nonprofit organizations and just organizations as a whole that go out of their way to help people. And I think this was just bringing that entire group together across all of Johnson County. And I feel like Tiffin, to a certain extent, has played little brother, so to speak, to our neighbors to the east. for many, many years now. And I think it feels really nice that I feel like we're bridging that gap and coming along and doing it in a responsible way, and doing it in a way that still preserves small town Tiffin, and everything that we enjoy about it. So yeah, really cool event last night. Thank you to the Better Together 2030 team, coalition of folks who made those award determinations. And the only downside is they didn't want us to talk last night, Tim. And I know you wanted to get up there and say something.
Oh, but I didn't, but someone here did because he had to accept the award. And so it was, I would say we were actually nominated by an outside entity or slash individual. And so this wasn't something that, we wrote somebody's award and they wrote our award. This kind of came as a surprise that we received this. And it's like, wow, that was really, felt good.
Yeah.
Well, speaking about you talked about the love of reading at the Springmire Library. Well, it will be February 14th, 10 to noon, 10 a.m. to noon. Um, we'd like you to come celebrate Valentine's Day and lifelong reading with a cozy, family-friendly evening at the library. Enjoy live music from Molly Shannon, hands-on crafts, and sweet treats from Teeny Regan while giving back through a book drive benefiting the University of Iowa Stead Family Children's Hospital. We're collecting brand new board books and graphic novels, the items they need most. Guests can also enjoy blind date with a book, curated reading bundles, and a coffee shop giveaway. Bring a book, bring a loved one, and share the love of reading at Springmire Community Library, Saturday, February 24th, 10 a.m. to noon. Now that's a quick snapshot of what's happening around the city right now. Now let's move into the fun part of today's episode.
Tim, I take slight acceptance to that comment that we're now entering the fun part of the episode. I thought we were having a good time up until now.
Okay, all right. Well, that's what it says on my script, so I gotta leave it at that. I'm having fun the whole time. I blame Ashley for that. She wrote that on my script, so
Oh, MPT, I'm just giving you a hard time. You know that. Yeah, Grant
yes.
officially, as mentioned earlier, Grant officially joined the city earlier this month. So while he's getting to know Tiffin, we wanted to take an opportunity to get to know him. And we all know how important this role is to just the community nature of what we're trying to do with the city. So I know we're all really happy to have him join. We were giving Grant a hard time. He got to see some of the secret sauce of the podcast earlier. So hopefully he's not too scared off by now. But Grant, welcome to Tiffin Talk. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Um, Before we jump in with our million questions that we have for you, and obviously we like to keep this conversational. I know you've listened to our previous one episode, but why don't you kick us off? Just tell us a little bit about your background, whatever you want to share as an opening segue. This is your chance for everybody in the city to meet Grant Weber. So however you want to introduce yourself, go ahead.
Man, no pressure there. Holy cow. Yeah, so I'm new to this area, but I've been around quite a bit. So I went to the University of Iowa. I graduated from there in gosh, hard to remember now, 2015, 2016, one of those. I grew up in DeWitt, Iowa, so just about an hour east of here. Similar, smaller sized community. That's really what got my jump start into the Parks and Recreation field. I really have hardly had a job outside of this field. So I grew up in the programs that they offered. And as soon as I aged out, I started working them. So I started, umpiring and officiating sports games and things like that as soon as I was too old to play them. And yeah, from there, I just discovered like, oh, holy cow, this is actually a career. I didn't realize that I could, start doing these things for fun and get paid to do it. It seemed like a no-brainer. So I kind of just stumbled into it from there.
That's awesome. Thanks, Grant. And I think for our listeners, since this is a very, we're not as we mentioned earlier, Grant, we're not putting video out with this. For those listening, if you consider the three individuals who are on this format right now, MPT, myself, and Grant, it's kind of like a Papa Bear, middle bear, mama bear, baby bear. Grant has a very youthful face here, folks. So if you see him out and about and you confuse him for a youth athlete or some, I don't think that that's too hard to expect. So, but he Grant's laughing right now, so I take that as a good sign.
Tim, you're the first one that has ever made that comment before. Did you know that?
I figured.
Yeah, I get that a lot. I actually got that just the other day. I went and spoke at the senior coffee hour and introduced myself there, and I think that was the very first comment was, "Are you old enough for this job?" I just at this point just take it on the chin, and yep, I feel like that's probably, I don't know. There's more to come. I'm used to it.
Hey, go ahead, Tim.
I think I'm hearing a new nickname, Baby Bear. Oh yeah, I think that's going to blend in well at the city.
Oh wow! If we can make
it's all the mayor
stick.
Ashley, how long is this interview? Can we can we speed this up a little? I've got somewhere to be.
Hey Grant, I'm so happy to hear that you were able to get to senior coffee hour. Was MPT in the front row?
Oh yeah, he had his popcorn ready. He camped out early because he heard I was going to be there. So, yep.
Well, he's retired.
Wow.
So
go ahead, pick on me. That's all right, fine. It's okay, Baby Bear. You can pick on me if you want. All right.
On the hot seat.
Grant's got somewhere to be, so let's get into the interview here. What drew you to park and recreation work? Was there an aha moment somewhere that you said, "Hey, this is it"? And you may have already answered that, but I'm going to ask it anyway.
No, there totally was. The aha moment was right when I transferred to the University of Iowa. I'm sitting there with my advisor picking my classes, and I was planning to go into business school. And they mentioned, like, I had all my classes done. I already had my associate's degree, all my credits transferred. So I thought that I was on the fast track. I'd be able to jump right into the business major. That was my plan all along. And then they told me, oh, by the way, you're going to need to take this business matrix algebra class. And I was like, okay, well, I haven't really taken a math class like that in like 3 years now. They said, well, you can try to test out of it. And I said, well, I'm probably going to test back into like high school math, so I probably shouldn't do that. And so then I just asked, like, hey, what other areas with my college credits transfer? And they're like, well, we got this new major. It kind of merged a couple other ones. It's the sport and recreation management. Is that something that you think you might be interested in? And I just thought for a second, and I was like, well, I guess I have been working for a Parks and Rec department the last like 6 years already. So, well, yeah, I guess I didn't even realize that was a major. So I kind of thought I had to go to business school to do something like that. So from there, I just said, yeah, that sounds great, and didn't look back. I've been in the Parks and Rec field. Got a job, right after graduating. I continued working for the city of DeWitt through college. So yeah, I mean, I've been working for various cities, for municipalities like this since I was 14 years old now. So I've spent 18 years of my life in this field already.
What's interesting about that story, Grant, is I don't know if I've talked about this, but I have an oldest brother. He's 4 years older than me, and he probably will listen to this. So he's gonna light up because he just gets so excited about hearing himself mentioned. But he is civilian in the Navy, and he essentially does your job for the Navy base. And he's 4 years older than me. So when I was in high school is when he's at UNI choosing his major and all of these things. And I remember, I don't know, it was sometime during his freshman, sophomore year, he came home and he says his major is leisure services. And I'm like, this sounds made up. and I don't believe it's a real major. And lo and behold, it's things like what you do and what he does that are super important. And I do have, again, just watching him through the years, this role is not as easy. I don't want to say that because it sounds disparaging, but I think from the outward perspective, it's a fun, cool. You're out, you're doing things, you're building community, you're putting on events and things like that. But it's difficult. There is a background to this that I think is really important for individuals in your role. And so I hope people feel that and understand that what you bring to the table is not an easy position.
Yeah, funny you bring that up. There's a study that I recently read. They released I think it was Forbes, maybe, don't quote me on that, but they had their list of the most stressful jobs of 2025 as voted on, I think, by large studies and people in their fields. And the number one job that was listed as the most stressful job was leisure services and it had another like event planning, something like that. So and it was all the points that you talked about. It's on the inconsistent hours, how public facing it is. A lot of times you're in charge of public facilities and just places where people have lots of questions. They want information and they come to you looking for answers. So yeah, it can definitely be a more demanding role, I think, than people might first realize.
Yeah, and to piggyback on that a little bit too, I think I don't know. I don't know if this is a recent thing or a just kind of always been there, but I know our community is clamoring for community. And I know we've talked about that in your hiring process and things like that. I know you're very aware of that, and that's near and dear to your heart as well. But I think just the state of the world right now, people want to connect, and we do these things, and we're on a podcast, and we're trying to connect in this way. But this role and what you bring to the community is it's just super important. So super happy you're here. Grant, what's something people might be surprised to learn about you?
Well, despite my youthful look, I am in my early 30s here with a family and a child. But I just wanted to get that in there so that people know, because I don't know, based on how this went earlier, you might be thinking I'm, just I don't know what that was, a rough description earlier. So not baby bear. Anyway, moving on from that, something else. Let's see. I've been part of a band. I am. I mean, I like to consider myself still part of a band. We might play once a year now, but we're still a band, I think.
Okay, hold on a second. Time out here. What are you playing, an instrument? Are you singing? What are we doing here?
Yeah. Well, I do a little of both. Not very well for any of the instruments. I'm kind of self-taught, but I play a little bit with little guitar, little rhythm guitar now. I taught myself a little on keyboards. I can do that, and then I'm this singer of the band.
Wow. Nice.
Now, how does that work when you're playing at gigs perhaps? Is it tough to get gigs because they're like, well, we can't let you in here?
Okay, well, don't get too far ahead here when you say gigs. We consider a gig like, hey, we're not going to play in the basement today. We're going to play in the garage. Okay, that's a gig for us. We've played in a couple places. We've played publicly. I did get that comment a couple times where people are like, wow, I can't, I didn't know, like, are kids allowed to be in here, in this bar, whatever. And, this was years ago. Granted, we're talking 10 plus years ago. So, yep, you guys just laugh it up right now, okay? Just laugh it up.
All right. Well, you kind of nailed the next question we had for you about what you do outside of work. It sounds like you've got a family that keeps you busy, and now you've got a budding musical career. So I'll ask you this: what excites you most about Parks and Recreation as a profession / field?
The thing that excites me most is the opportunity kind of like what you guys touched on before, to bring people together, to really give people a sense of community and the opportunity that's there. I think the most fun times that I have are sometimes the leading up to it, the most stressful when you put together a big event. Holiday events are a stressful time of year for everything going on outside of that, but you put on a big holiday event, and then the day of, when it's actually happening and you're on site, those are the things that I love. Just walking around, chatting with people, shaking hands, and whatever's involved. I mean, this year I came from Cedar Rapids Parks and Recreation, so we have our tree lighting event that we do up there for the holidays, and I manned the hot chocolate tent this year, and that was a great time. Like, the number of people that come up, and I know so many of them, to see some of the little kids that are in the sports programs that recognize me, and stuff like that. It's one of my favorite things, is to really get that feeling of community and to bring families together.
Grant, I love the fact that you just brought up the tree lighting, because I think you and I have talked, at least, or I feel like you and I have talked. Maybe we haven't, but tree lighting is definitely on the top of my list for next winter. So we've got to get that figured out. I actually just received a text message not too long ago from community member Trevor Bowlers. I'm going to throw his name out there, so that way I hear if he's listened. He can message me, but he messaged sometime around Christmas and said the same thing. I think we are primed for a tree lighting event with hot chocolate, fake snow if we don't have snow, the whole thing. I think that'd be great. We have some great spaces to choose from currently, so I'm so excited you have experience with that.
Yeah, I've mentioned that already. I've got a couple locations scoped out that I was like, ooh, that'd be a good spot for a Christmas tree right there. So that I don't know. I had a nickname. Sometimes around the holidays they'd call me Mr. Christmas, because I told everyone that I'm obsessed with Christmas time, and I love the events and the holidays. So just call me Mr. Christmas, and I'm good at that. A lot better than Baby Bear. Okay,
I was gonna say.
Now wait a minute. I believe there's a drink company that has a polar bear, and it has a baby polar bear, so you could be Baby Bear still in Christmas lighting.
Well, I'm impressed at how quickly Grant just transitioned to giving himself a new nickname.
Right.
I mean,
it's a seasonal nickname.
Well, I mean, we can always just go with like Christmas Baby Bear and just blend them. I think that's a fair compromise. Grant, I have a really important question, and you might want to pause and think about this before you answer, because this could either make or break your life in Tiffin and how you answer this question.
Oh my.
Early impressions of Tiffin so far. Be careful.
Well, I mean, I came here for the mayor, and I wasn't let down. That was what I heard in Cedar Rapids. You just got to come. The mayor's the reason to move there. So, yeah, leading off, that's probably number one. Early impressions of Tiffin so far. It is fun. That has been my early impression. It's fun. Everybody that I've talked to is excited. They're eager. People have ideas. People want to be involved. Like, it's pretty cool. I am excited about the opportunity here, and my early impression is that I'm really enjoying it. I like the community, and I like where it's headed.
With that being said, what are you most excited to learn about Tiffin?
Well, I'm excited to see it, in the summertime when it's a little green, and get to experience the outdoor portion of Tiffin instead of just kind of the indoor amenities that I've seen so far. This has been a rough time of year to start. So I think I'm excited to really get out into the community a little bit more. The weather has not helped to as far as that goes, but yeah, I think that's what I'm most excited for, to get to see people start to get excited for that rec center coming online. I think that's kind of a big thing that I can't wait to get out and talk to more people and get them ready for that space.
Now, as a follow-up, what stood out to you already? What has caught your eye that you like or don't like, maybe?
Oh, I don't think there's anything that I don't like so far. That's been one really nice thing is that I've not had any.
Good answer.
I haven't had any obstacles or barriers to any ideas that I've had, or it's been very much a can-do attitude around here as far as thoughts or ideas. When I've just asked, hey, is this something that we could do? And it's very much been, yeah, if you think you can make it happen, like we can do it. So the support from the city staff here has been tremendous. I think that's probably been the best part so far.
I mentioned this last night at my unofficial speech at the awards banquet, but I feel like we have one of the best staffs in the county for sure. And it makes me really happy, Grant, that you're feeling that way. MPT and I don't get to engage on the day to day nearly as much. Obviously, our information is all being passed along through, folks like producer Ashley and city administrator Mr. Bolt, who's on a beach right now.
Yeah.
He sent me a tank top picture the other day. I wasn't sure what to think about that. Show off as given the gun show. I was impressed, but I don't know. I don't know how I felt about it. Anyway, but yeah, Grant, I'm so happy to hear you say that because that's the environment that I believe helps us thrive, where we're all working together and having a good time. I think you've seen a few of our council meetings now, and you've been in the office a lot now. I think hopefully, and you're saying that energy exudes, and yeah, such a great group of individuals who always go above and beyond and really help out. So happy that you're feeling that already.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I do have a.
Go ahead.
I'll go. On that note, if I'm not mistaken, we keep all of our sports balls, like footballs, basketballs, soccer balls, in these big netted bags to transport around. And I've heard that you like to keep those in your office, on your desk, in your chair. What's up with that?
Yeah, what is up with that? Maybe we should ask the mayor here and see if he could fill us in a little bit on that.
Geez, I don't know. This is the first I'm hearing of this. This sounds interesting, though. It makes me feel good that you want to be that close to your work, though.
Oh yeah, of course. Should I share that? Should I share how that went? What was that? My second day of work here. My third day, one of those. Would the listeners like to hear that?
Sure.
I don't know. Maybe what happened. I'm a little confused.
Well,
I don't know anything about it, so I just heard it.
Well, I went to a meeting. I was out of my office for a couple hours. There was a lot going on here where my office is over at the Public Works building, and it was a big busy day here. There were some interviews, other things happening in the facility, and I had been told just to kind of we'll all try to stay a little quiet while they're using the conference room there. And so I step out for a while, and when I get back, the whole storage room has basically migrated into my office. And not just, there's plenty of space on the floor and other areas, but no, the storage room pretty much concentrated on my desk and my chair and just my path right around my feet. So at first, my first thought was, oh, they must have needed the storage room for something, right? They must have had to quickly just haul stuff out. And I don't know why the first thought would be, let's carry it into my office. But, at the time I was giving the benefit of the doubt. And, just a few minutes later, I went down and checked that room, and I was like, well, everything else is still in here except, all these ball bags and all this other stuff. So, and no one else is. They must not have needed it. And then it kind of hit me. I was like, oh, wait, who actually is here? Who's in the building right now? And then I realized, oh, yeah, the city council is in the building, or at least a portion of them. And I have a feeling they had something to do with this. I think I've been hazed, was my first thought. And it was at that moment that I knew that I was officially working for the City of Tiffin, that I was officially on board.
So, Grant, you're thinking that the council happened to be in the bill? I don't know. I feel like there's some circumstantial evidence that you're relying on there. And because I could just as easily see that those balls may have just rolled into your office.
Up the stairs.
Oh yeah.
Oh, up the stairs. Yeah, that's tricky to explain. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, just a little bit. I don't know though. I mean, I don't have any proof yet. I got to find out where the cameras are in this building. I haven't that far into it yet, but I've got a couple suspects. There's a couple on top of my list.
Well, if you find out, I think we'd all like to know. We'd like to get to the bottom of that.
That's right. I mean, because I don't know anything about it, but I'm old. I forget. I can't think beyond last 10 minutes. So
if I do any heists or any nefarious things, I always like to take the older generation, and they just forget what's happening.
Hey,
right?
Hey, wait a minute, Ashley, isn't this a rabbit hole that you told Tim not to go down? Isn't it? All right. Just reminding
I don't know.
you, Tim.
I think we could keep going. I feel like I'm getting closer to some answers here.
No.
All right.
No.
Well,
I don't think we're going to get there.
Let's get back on track. I may have been the one that got us off track, but one last question I have for you, Grant, was what do you hope residents feel when they use Tiffin's parks and trails, with you being the director?
Well, I think when you're talking space like that outdoors, and I hope the sense is that you feel safety, you feel welcomed. I think that's what the goal of Parks and Recreation often is that you're wanting to give people a space that they can go and have picnics and family outings and go on walks to, relieve stress, be with nature. That's always the goal. You want people to feel that space is available and that space is welcoming. So I think, my background, I used to work on the park side. I always like to try to keep things tidy. I like to keep them clean, make sure that they look really nice and presentable for the public and for anybody that might want to use them. And that just helps draw more people into the community. Often you hear Parks and Recreation is one of the top things that people ask for when moving to a new community is what amenities does the city have? What kind of park spaces do they have? What kind of playgrounds do they offer? Those are really big driving factors to bring families in. And when you look at a growing community like Tiffin, I feel like the opportunity is just so big that we have for growth and expansion, and what cool things we're going to be able to do to keep providing those opportunities and that sense of community and a good place that we want people to come here.
All right, Grant. Ashley, just reset the shot clock, so we're down to our final minutes here. We're gonna get you out of here on a little bit of a lightning round.
All right.
Favorite outdoor activity?
Sand volleyball.
You are aware of the new sand volleyball pits over in the auxiliary fields, correct?
Yes, I am, and I'm excited about that. I feel like we should probably add about 10 to 15 more, get some lights in there.
Now we're talking.
I think that would be good for the council to start considering how we can make that happen.
Well, again, not to go down too many rabbit holes here, Grant, but this may be outside of your age demographic, but did you ever watch the original Top Gun?
Yes. How old do you think I am?
There is there is a scene in Top Gun where gentlemen are playing volleyball that look very similar to MPT and I with our shirts off. And so if you can organize a volleyball event where we can get out there and show off a little bit, I think we're open to that.
Oh,
Say no more.
Totally.
Say no more.
All right. Coffee or energy drink?
Coffee. Thank my wife for that. Never had a drink until just a few years ago, and now I'm hooked on it.
Okay, let's expand on that. How do you take your coffee? Is it black? Or are you a cream guy? What are we doing?
I have gotten very good at making lattes at home. Vanilla latte is my go-to right now.
All right, I get
the
last one. I get the last lightning round. Morning person or night owl?
Well, right now I feel like I'm kind of both. I've got a child that doesn't like to sleep much, so I feel like I'm up most of the night and then I get up early for work. So, right now it's just burning the candle at both ends. If I had it my way, I tend to be a night owl. I like to stay up. I always have. But as I've gotten
Yeah,
older, as my child has come along, I tend to also really enjoy the mornings and kind of the 5 to 10 minutes of peace and quiet that I can usually get before he's awake.
a little bit of
It,
solitude, huh?
yeah, it doesn't matter what time I wake up. If I'm up at 6 o'clock, he's up at 6:10. If I'm up at 7 o'clock, he's up at 7:10. So, just any those few minutes are just pure bliss.
I think all of our listeners can relate to those stories, and most of us will say we don't miss those days, Grant. So glad that it's you, not us.
At least we remember them fondly, but we wouldn't want to go out back to them. I know that.
Correct. Yeah, that's the
But you
that's the nicer way to put it.
but you still don't know anything about those ball bags in my office. You don't remember those though, but you do remember those earlier days.
Ouch, he got you there, Mayor.
I think he was talking to you.
No, I'm going to see this face. This is an innocent face here, so I don't know anything about it.
All right, Grant. Any parting words? You've got 40 seconds left. Anything you want to say to the community while you have their full attention?
Yeah, I would say check out some new programs that we have coming up. Registration has opened. If you go to Tiffin, Iowa, recreation.com, you can find our registration page for our baseball leagues, our youth baseball, softball, and t-ball programs. Those registrations have opened up, and they will be open until, I believe, right around March 11th is our cutoff date. We've also got a brand new program that we are offering called Tai Chi. That one we have a free day to come and check out on Saturday, February 7th. It is open for kids ages 6 and up. We actually have a family session where you can come in with the kids 6 and up, or teens as well. It goes up to like 14 for that group. And then there's an adult one immediately following. So those are on Saturday, February 7th at the middle school here in town. So I would encourage the community to check that class out. If you don't know what Tai Chi is, it's just kind of a mix of yoga, slow movements. It works on breathing, balance, strength. It's a really neat program. It's good for relaxation. You name it, flexibility. It's gotten really popular. We've got a phenomenal instructor, and she's excited to get it started. So I'd encourage anybody to go check that out.
All right, Grant. I really appreciate it. I think we really appreciate it. Thank you for being here today. Had a lot of fun. If you do figure out the ball back situation, please let me know. We'll get some discipline issued on that. If it was a hazing, if it what really was a hazing event, we want to know about that.
I'm glad that you are so concerned. I will keep you in the loop with what I learned.
Hey, Grant, thank you. Thanks for being here, Baby Bear. We appreciate you joining us for a little conversation this morning, Baby Bear.
All right, Grant Weber, thank you. Please, you're always welcome back. All right, MPT, we are to the end of our show. I just want to,
still armed.
and we're on time, I think.
Okay.
We're on time. We're wrapping up. I do want to encourage everyone, stay engaged, follow us on social media. City website is tiffin-iowa.org, O-R-G. Continue to stay watching for parks updates, as Grant mentioned. And then, again, we're going to try and do these on a monthly basis. I know we floated earlier this week about whether or not we want to do more than once a month. And I think TBD on that. I think we might be a little too much MVP in the mayor for anybody's
Right.
liking.
I agree, but if the only would be if there'd be a special event or something that people need to know about, we'd be glad to jump in here, and it could be just a little short little blurb too. It doesn't have to be a full blown podcast.
Yeah, no, I mean, we didn't talk about any of this ahead of time, so producer actually may not like this, but I'm gonna say it anyway because she's not gonna come off of mute. So, um, you know, that whole plug about the Springmeier Community Library event was technically an ad. So if anybody, if we have listeners out there like, I really want to get this out in front of the community, whatever, please let us know. Tim, you've had some nonprofit organizations reach out to you. I think that's fantastic. I think we're going to start featuring some of those folks. If listeners have ideas of things you want to hear about or you want to talk about, let us know. Producer Ashley's email is open 24 hours a day. She would be happy to field those questions and get them to us, and we can go from there. But next episode. Definitely. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm enthusiastic sometimes, and I get a little too quick on the shot. But please let us know if you want to know something, or you just want us to touch on something going on around town. Please let us know. That's what this is all about.
Absolutely. Next episode will be at the top of the month, March 1st, which seems like a long ways away, but not really that long away. Remember to subscribe. I don't know where we're pretty much in all the areas that you can possibly be. I don't know what all those areas are, but we're in all of them. So go out, subscribe to those, listen to future episodes. But this will wrap up today's episode of Tiffin Talk. On our next episode, we will be sitting down with Library Director Liz Peterson-Greer to talk about everything happening in the library and the role it plays in our community. Super excited for that interview. And until then, thanks for tuning in to Tiffin Talk. We'll catch you next time.
Bye.